You're looking at Joe Burrow being the guy that I was in on the beginning of the year. Clearly, that is no longer an option. So where are we looking on this board? And I keep landing on the same thing, which is, Baker Mayfield's been kind of the story this year. Think about this. He's plus 950 for MVP. They look like right now one of the, if not the most formidable team in the NFC.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on Sports Grid.
Great quarterback, the best quarterback in football. But when you play a 60-minute game of football on national TV and the referees do not call a single penalty against you when you committed 13 penalties the week before in a nationally televised loss, I'm sorry, but the jig is up.
The Craig Carton Show, only on Sports Grid.
I apologize to our fans. We need to do better. That's all you need to say, Scott, right? But Tua goes out there, my kids love me, I'm rich, I don't care. You got your dumbass coach coming out here, and we play to win. You got to win the game, and you got to win. And, dude, the Dolphins press conferences make it way worse. If I was a Dolphin fan, I just want to punch these guys in the face.
In-game live, only on Sports Grid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on...
And welcome in. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on a wonderful Wednesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Gabe Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching, analyzing, betting on the world of sports. Yes, we got Major League Baseball Game 3, Seattle trying to take a commanding 3-0 series lead over Toronto. First pitch in about 5 minutes or so. We get some college football, Conference USA, serving us a couple of games tonight. And then we get the 4 National Hockey League games. So not a big slate of games tonight, but that's okay. We got plenty of guests, plenty of things to bet on. We got Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com joining us. We got a good buddy, Cam Stewart, joining us. Throw out some golf picks with him. Paul Bovey, VegasInsider.com. And, of course, our good buddy, Mark Zitto, who no doubt will have something to complain about. We'll be disappointed if he doesn't. But before we get to all that, it is Gabe time. What's going on, Gabe? What's betting you off today?
Well, I'll tell you what, my biggest beef of the day is that the Grey Cup Championship, Scott, is a month away, and we don't have a halftime show booked yet. But, I'll save that rage for the podcast. Obviously, it's about the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners tonight. Mariners never been to the World Series before, and they win this game, the Blue Jays aren't going to win 4 straight games. So this is an absolute – the term must win gets tossed around a lot and kind of loosely in the media and the sports world, but this is an absolutely positively have-to-win baseball game for the Toronto Blue Jays this evening.
Yep. Outside of the Red Sox, it hasn't been done in baseball. Beating the Yankees the 4 straight after they fell behind 3-0. So that's where I'll start with our opening pickoff game. I like Seattle. Listen, I had Toronto the first 2 games. I like Seattle in the series. Actually, I bet them in the series. I played Toronto, just little hedge bets in games 1 and 2. Didn't pan out. No sense doing that. I think Seattle is going to win. I don't know if it's going to be a sweep or not. You're right, do or die. Bieber on the hill. He's been okay, not awful, not over the top great either in the postseason. And there's 1 start in the regular season, the 7 he had with the Toronto since they acquired him from Cleveland after the Tommy John surgery. So, but anyway, bottom line is Seattle's got great numbers at home, and I just think they're the better team. So they're at home. They got Kirby on the hill. 20-plus games over 500 at home. They're almost unbeatable at home. So give me Seattle late in the minus 135.
I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays this evening. I think being at home is going to be a negative for the Mariners in the same way that it was a negative for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays are a great home team as well, right? The Blue Jays were a dominant home team. You see this in the National Hockey League playoffs. Teams get caught, they get caught up in the hype, right? And especially the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays beat the Yankees. The city of Toronto went crazy. And Toronto were at home that whole time waiting to play again. I think they bought into their own hype a little bit. I think now they realize this is a real business trip. Now, because a team needs to win doesn't mean that they do. And that's another low-hanging fruit that people use a lot. But the Mariners are only hitting .229 against Bieber, and it's a pretty big sample size. It's 109 career at-bats. And conversely, the Jays hit Kirby. They're hitting .281 against Kirby. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays plus 110 tonight.
All right. Same thing. I'll go game-wise. I'm going to go under 15.5 outs George Kirby. A little surprised they gave us over 5 innings. In his 2 postseason starts, he only went 5, pitched fairly well, wasn't yanked because he wasn't pitching well. In his regular season, it was a little bit less than half of his starts that he go more than 5 innings, so he's not a guy that generally goes 6 or 7. So, again, I'm a little surprised. It was only 14.5 for Bieber. So I was going to pick one of the two, and I said, all right, I'll go with the 15.5 for Kirby outs for George Kirby, Seattle starting pitcher.
I've got some props tonight for this game, and every one of my picks tonight, guys, is a plus money pick, so you got to like that.
Nice.
If we go 2-2 with the 4 pickup picks, we don't lose money. Let's go with Santander, who signed a big deal with the Jays, got hurt, really hasn't contributed very much, but he's like straight fire, and this is why he's in the lineup. He hasn't been in the lineup every game, but he's in the lineup tonight. 6 for 15 in his career against Kirby. He's hitting .400 against him. He's got 2 home runs in the 15 at-bats. So Santander in the lineup tonight. I think Santander does come through, and we're getting plus money on Santander this evening. And, man, anytime you're getting a prop at over 0.5, all we need is one hit. A single gets us there, right? So this isn't one of these 1.5s where you need a couple of hits or a double. Over 0.5 for Santander total bases tonight.
All right. Speaking of underdogs, I'll grab one in hockey, Gabe. Give me Calgary plus the 188 at Utah. Funky line here, so you're probably getting the backup goaltender for the Calgary Flames because neither one of these two teams could score with a $20 bill at a cheap brothel house. Yet the over-under is 6.5. Makes no sense, right? So you're probably getting the backup for Calgary. They played last night. They lost. They lost all 3 games against Utah last year, but overall 10-4 their last 14, going back to when they played in Arizona. I just think that's a monster number. You're getting almost 2-1. 2 teams that can't score. 2 mediocre teams. You want to give me almost 2-1? I'll grab that. Give me Calgary plus the 188.
I'm going to stay with the baseball once again. I'm going to go with Springer, not Jerry, but George, George Springer. Nevertheless, his numbers aren't great, Springer, in the playoffs, but he sort of steps up, in big games. We saw him lead off game 1 with the home run. I wouldn't be surprised if he led off with a big hit, home run / double to start today's baseball game. I like his numbers against Kirby. And the fact that we're getting like plus 145, plus 140, the numbers started to dip because I didn't really understand a plus 145 for over 1.5 total bases for Springer. So we pulled the trigger on Springer, total bases over 1.5 plus money. Let's rock.
All right. My last one will be hockey. Give me St. Louis minus the 140 to win in regulation against Chicago. Great hockey series, a good rivalry, right? But it's been a one-sided affair. That is for sure. All St. Louis. They've beaten Chicago 5 straight. They're 10-1 at home against Chicago, where this game is, and they're 15-1 at home their last 16 home games. Now, obviously, all that's dated back to last year, although 1-0 this year. But when you think home ice advantage, I don't know how many people actually think like the St. Louis Blues, right? But 15-1 to close out last season, regular season-wise anyway. So give me St. Louis at all points to them. I'm going to drop it down, make it a regulation win. I think they get it minus the 140.
Yeah, I'm going to get a piece of this hockey game. We got a hockey prop and a nice plus 128 price as well for an over 2.5 shots on goal for Dylan Holloway of the St. Louis Blues. Dylan Holloway, over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 128. He actually leads the St. Louis Blues in shots on goal this year. Playing time, is he on the ice? Yes, he is. He's actually averaging 19 minutes a game, which is a lot. So he's on the ice a lot. He gets some power play time. He's leading the team in shots on goal. And, the Chicago Blackhawks we're talking about a Blackhawk team here that gives up a plethora of shots on goal, right, amongst the highest in the National Hockey League. So there will be shots on goal in this hockey game this evening. Give me Holloway over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 128.
All right, there you go. The opening pickoff. So, but bottom line, back to the baseball, because that is the main attraction game. You think Toronto wins tonight, huh? I mean, listen, I wouldn't be shocked. But like
No,
I said,
I literally do.
Yeah. I mean, I can
I'm
see
not a
it.
Jays
right?
fan. So
Yeah,
this
right.
isn't I hope they win. It is what it is. I would prefer, you know what I mean? Like, I like the Jays, but it's not like a homer, oh, yeah, they're going to win for sure tonight. I legitimately believe that the Jays' bats will be better on the road tonight, and they're going to be calmer. I think they got caught up in the hometown hype a little bit. They tried to play hero ball in Toronto, Scott, which was weird for them. The reason the Jays were successful this year is because they worked pitch counts up. It's because they were willing to pass the baton and just sort of play money ball and get on base. You know, they keep on falling behind in these games, right? If they don't fall behind, I think the Jays will be fine tonight.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. We'll check out that. We got the college football, we got hockey, so we got a number of things to bet on. In-game live, game day here on the Grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at plus 190.
Right.
These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on Sports Grid.
Basically a year's worth of starts at this point, because remember, Drake May was not the starter out of the gate during his rookie year last year. That was Jacoby Brissett. There have been some, encouraging performances and, I think some flashes of what could be upper echelon talent within the scope of the league. But going into this year, it was, we're going to find out.
Game time decisions, only on Sports Grid.
Yanks ain't looking good. My Phillies aren't looking good. Can we have a pity party this morning? I mean, what gives?
Listen, you want to talk about cities that aren't doing too well here. You mentioned the Yankees on the brink here. Jets, forget about it. 0-5. Giants, you lose to a winless to New Orleans team. Things ain't any better here in the Big Apple. I said, I think sports fans are maybe praying for the New York Rangers, who are certainly better than the New York Islanders.
The early line, only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe just getting underway, so we are set. First pitch here coming up, Seattle and Toronto. It's actually happened a little bit more than
it's come up,
necessarily. Scott. Yeah,
Vladimir Guerrero is on second base right now, and there's 2 out.
Yeah, all right. So
Santander
it's
up right
up.
now. So
Yeah.
Kirby's been dealing, man. The Jays, and the thing is, I talked about it before the game started. I said the Jays were so good because they work counts this year. And what do? They come out swinging right away. Ground balls, like not very good at bats. But Guerrero hit kind of an awkward one hopper to third base. It was a close play at the bag. Ended up being an errant throw. So he's on second base right now. So there's 2 out. And I said I like Santander to do something tonight. That, he was in the lineup because of his numbers against Kirby. This is his opportunity. The guy's making like $35 million a year, Scott. He signed a big-time deal with the Jays, leaving Baltimore, and he really, he contributed nothing this year. He was playing. He didn't do anything when he was healthy. He wasn't playing well, and then he got hurt. So this would be a good time for him to step up.
Yeah. I was going to say, teams that are down 2-0, Gabe, you would think they would basically be done. And, for the most part, they are. But I will tell you, teams up 2-0 win the series 78 of the 93 times. So 78 yes, 15 no. Which, that's actually a few more no's than I thought it would be. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And even in this 2-3-2 format, it's 23-5. So it's about 80%. Which again, it's 3-0. Forget about it. Yeah, but 2-0.
But the 2-3-2 format,
you still have
Scott,
a life.
Yeah, you do even say, and Santander strikes out. So Kirby, second strikeout of the inning. Kirby gets 2 strikeouts in the first inning. His prop was 4.5 for the record. So we're going to the bottom of the first. But if you're the Jays right now, listen, if you're Seattle, you're in a good spot. We talk about it, the 2-3-2 format. It's better off to be the road team. So if you're the Brew Crew, you're the Mariners. You're thinking, all right, we just got to win 2 or 3 at home here, and, we win the series. Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
We just got to win 2 of these 3 games. But if you're the Jays, you don't need the sweep. You know what I mean? You're not going in here thinking, guys, it's not the end of the world. The Blue Jays were kind of calm about it, actually. I think they were thinking the same thing, that, listen, we just need to win 2 or 3 in Seattle, and we get it back to Toronto for game 6 and 7, right? That's, if you're the Jays, you're just thinking, all right, let's just squeeze out, get 2 or 3, get this thing back to Toronto and put the pressure back on Seattle. And let's not forget, Scott, the Mariners, I know but for people tuning in, the Mariners have never been to the World Series before in franchise history. I tell you, Scott, this series, suddenly imagine 2-2, they'll start to panic in Seattle. They'll panic if they lose tonight. The talk shows, Scherzer's pitching next game. Now we're going to be 2-2. We're going to be down. You know what I'm saying, Scott? Things can change in a hurry in baseball, man.
Case in point, Gabe, the Dodgers, who up 2-0, right? Same exact thing as Seattle, winning the first 2 on the road. Dodgers are 15-1 to win the National League Championship Series. Seattle, same thing, up 2-0, winning both games in Toronto, only 7-1. Less than half of what the Dodger price is. And the Dodgers are facing, theoretically, the best team in baseball, record-wise, the Milwaukee Brewers. And yet they give that much less love to Seattle. So you're right. One loss and all that, first time going to the World Series stuff becomes
it comes back. And remember, though, even the Dodgers against the Phillies, right? Dodgers took the 2 in Philadelphia. They lost the game in L.A., so it was 2-1. Suddenly that game, it became a serious situation. Even, as a Dodger fan, it was we don't want to go back to Philadelphia. We don't want to go to Philadelphia for a game 5. So the Seattle Mariners and the Mariner fans and everybody are thinking the same thing. We do not want to have to go back to Toronto in this series. So Toronto, you just got to nail down 2 or 3 to make that happen.
I think baseball, Gabe, even though baseball, it's kind of weird. Baseball, I think you have the biggest advantage being at home, batting last. But in reality, I think being at home in baseball is the least important when it comes to, football is monster being home. NBA is monster being at home. Hockey, not so much, but, you get the line changes, you get the last line shift. But I'd still rather be at home than hockey.
Home field in football has diminished immensely in the NFL.
In the postseason?
Oh, yeah.
And not in the postseason, though.
Even in the postseason,
I would say.
Yeah, in the postseason, yeah. Listen, you still want to have the 1 seed, Scott, but it's not so much the home field then. It's the fact that you're playing less games, right?
Right.
Put it this way. Odds makers used to grade 3 points for home field. They don't now. Now it's 1.3, 1.5. Hockey, as you stated, it's kind of meaningless. That's why, okay, Scott, let me ask you then. A classic example. Two weeks ago when James Franklin still had a job, Oh boy, that whiteout's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
110,000 kids all wearing. Oh boy, that's going to be all right. Oregon won. Indiana just went into Eugene, Oregon. Who won the game? The road team won. Right?
Yeah.
So we see. But I think college, Scott, is the last beacon of home field mattering. So I think it matters in college football still, even though I just used a couple of references. And I think college basketball is the biggest one still. I think college basketball home court still matters the most.
Yes.
NBA, I don't really think it matters that much.
Yeah. College hoops, you're talking about 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, and they're going in front of 20,000 screaming crazy.
Yeah, it's emotional.
Yeah,
it's
that's
loud.
cool.
It's, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. I remember in our heyday, when we were young, at least I'll speak for myself, Gabe, road team never won. They just never won. I always used to think when I was in my 30s and 40s that if I was betting in my 20s and teens, I would have made a fortune in the NBA because I never remember a road team winning.
I know, but speaking of road teams, we're just back to baseball. LA Dodgers won both games in Philadelphia. Seattle just won both games in Toronto. I mean, I could go on. The LA Dodgers just won both games in Milwaukee. Home team, lost.
Baseball doesn't matter.
Lost.
Yeah.
And the Brewers were damn good at home, Scott. The Blue Jays were like 51 and 52 and 30 or whatever. Like the Blue Jays are at the best home record in the league. They lost both games.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just that's why you're right. 2-0 down. I still think Seattle finds a way to win tonight, but it wouldn't shock me. Let's put it that way. Bottom of the first, no score. Same lines.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. So we got a little baseball, still bottom of the first inning. Seattle does have a runner on second base now. Rosarito walked and stole second. They got Raleigh out, but Julio's now batting against Shane Bieber, and obviously a scoreless first inning. A little college football tonight, Gabe. I don't know if you did anything with these two Conference USA games. I put a little nibble on both home underdogs. I thought both were kind of strange lines today. Who's Delaware to be a favorite over anybody on the road? Jacksonville State's not too bad, 3-3, and then even UTEP.
Oh, I got to jump in here.
Uh-oh.
Julio Rodriguez, 2-run home run.
Wow.
This guy's on fire. 3-run shot in the last game.
Yeah.
People waited for his bat to arrive. Well, here it is. His bat has arrived in a big-time way. And exactly the disaster that the Jays wanted to avoid, right? Like, I just said it. Bieber's not going to last that long, guys, to begin with. You know, we're talking about a guy coming off of surgery. He was going to pitch 4 or 5 innings type of deal if he pitched well. And then the Jays going to have to go to a shaky bullpen. And, you know, if you're the Jays, you really would have been better off having a 2-3-0 lead, going to that shaky bullpen. And we've seen, Scott, all series long, the Jays playing from behind, with the exception of that leadoff home run. Oh, boy. There's Polanco right now. Polanco with a ground rule double. Bieber's getting lit up early here. Might as well be Justin Bieber on the hill right now.
Yeah. That's why his over-under was only 14.5. I mean, I can't imagine one more hit, right? I mean, they got to have somebody warming up in the bullpen. I mean, it's not a regular season game in June.
Yeah. You can't. Every run counts too, Scott. That's a big difference between 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, etc. Yeah, you got to stop the bleeding early. Like you can't let this turn into 5 or 6. He's got to calm down. This is another thing, though. Let's see if the Jays go to the mound. Remember, I bitched about this earlier in the series. I said, the Savage kid on the hill, he got a bad call, non-strike 3. You could see, Scott, like the kid was like melting down.
Right.
He had the same look I do, like, losing a bunch of bets on a Sunday afternoon. You know what I mean? You're just that, like, you know what I mean? You're like, I can't believe this is happening type of deal. He had that I can't believe this is happening look on his face. And I'm like, somebody go talk to the kid. Boom. Rodriguez hit a 3-run shot after him. And I was like, told you. And same thing here with Bieber. It's like, probably be a good time to go talk to him now. Naylor's red hot too, Scott. You know what I mean? Like, he's just giving up a home run. You don't want the game to get away. Look at last night with Yamamoto. He calmed down, man. You know what I mean? Like, just because you give up an early run, you don't have to implode, but you got to, like, handle it. You got to put the fire out, Scott. You can't just let the guy, I would go out and talk to Bieber. I don't care about how many mound visits I have. I'm going to talk to him and go, listen, chill out. It's good. We're going to get you back. Don't worry.
What are you saving up for mound visits for, right? It's not even challenges, baby, but it's mound visits.
I'm talking about a mound visit. Mound visit? Mound visit? We're about to get eliminated from the playoffs. I don't care about your effing mound visit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Great. We have
what are they going to do if I go too many times? All right, sue me. All right, you know what I mean? Like, all right, what are you going to do?
Like, go ball? All right.
AJ Pierzynski. Yeah, AJ Pierzynski brought that up the other day. He goes, guys, I swear to God.
I like him.
Yeah, me too. I like him too. He's really good. Yeah. And he was a catcher too, Scott. He joked. He goes, is it just me, guys, or have the catchers just blown off this mound visit rule thing? He goes, they're going all the time. And he goes, I would go too all the time if they don't tell me not to. Right? And it was the 15-inning game. No one knew the rules. Everybody was going to the mound all the time, and the umps were like, whatever. Like, we're not going to say anything about this. So I was thinking, how about this, Scott? So how about this for ramifications? USC ran out of bodies on Saturday at the running back position.
Right.
They put a kid that wasn't on the active roster in the game in the second half.
Really?
Yeah. He was not on the active roster. He's on the team, but he was inactive. But at halftime, they told him, suit up. We're going to put you in. Should be kind of a mini scandal for that,
penalty, right? Yeah.
$5,000 fine to USC. $5,000, Scott.
That's it?
That doesn't cover the champagne that the deans drink during the game in the booth.
Yeah.
5 dimes. Oh, that's all. Why don't we just all use illegal players then in college football? It's $5,000. Like, $5,000.
When you know you're doing
at that point, what'd you even fine them for? Like, you're just insulting all of us now. $5,000 to the University of Southern California. Should have been like $5 million. Yeah, you guys ever do that again, we're gonna ban you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's crazy. That reminds me of the hockey game, the preseason game, where they used a player that got kicked out in the first period. They brought him back in the third period. He scored. He assisted. They didn't realize he got thrown out.
let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he played last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley. Even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this. But, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody. But really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like A.J. Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the Grid. Half hour in, hour number 1. We got baseball, a little college football, some hockey as well, but baseball obviously taking center stage. So Seattle scores 2, bottom of the first inning. They do get out of the inning without any further damage outside of the 2-run homer from Rodriguez. So top of the second, Seattle now a minus 410 favorite, and Toronto's plus 290. Over-under is 7.5.
Plus 2.5 runs with the Blue Jays looks pretty tempting. I guess if they lose, they're going to get smoked, right? They're going to. I got a minus 145. I'm already on the Jays, so I'm not going to overreact here. It's only 2 runs. Fact is, the Jays' bottom of the order has kind of been better than the top of the order has been. So we'll see. Kirby was dealing, though, there in that first inning for the most part. I mean, Vlad got on a weird one-hop bounce. So we'll see what happens here in a second.
All right, let's bring in our good buddy, Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com, UnderdogFantasy.com for all the fun that they offer up. What's going on, Rob? How are you tonight, bud?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. We got a nice football slate. We have some Major League Baseball playoff action. And, yeah, to your point, the Blue Jays, this is such a pivotal game. I don't think they're done yet. And so if you wouldn't even want to take that money line stab live, I didn't even bet the money line before the game. Yeah. I do think right now you're probably getting the most equity with a 2-0 lead right out the gate. That's the kind of the most deceptive lead in all of baseball.
So where were you before? And then it sounds like you would double down if you like Toronto then right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I was kind of on the angle of through the first 5 innings against George Kirby for the Blue Jays, taking the over on that team total of 1.5 because – again, this kind of feels like one of those pivotal games in the series. The Toronto Blue Jays lineup, although isn't producing enough. And I really did think that when you're looking at George Kirby under the hood, he was giving up a lot of hard contact. And sometimes against a good lineup
and
like
this, that's what's
going to really rise to the surface. Oh,
and look at this play. Bad baseball luck. Kirk just ripped one like hard as hell. Ripped it. Naylor made a great catch at first. Like he jumped up, it was right at him, like one of those like bad baseball luck type of deals. I was on the Jays for the game. I thought it would settle them down getting on the road, actually. You get caught up in the home hype a little bit after they beat the Yankees. But I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know about you, Rob. What do you think? Bieber got hit hard in that first inning, right? It wasn't just one at bat or something like that. Does Bieber, he did settle down and get out of it. Do you think Bieber calms down and gets on track here? Because he's really only going to give him 5 innings to begin with, right? So can he give him 4 scoreless innings, do you think?
I don't think he's even going to get the chance if we see early base runners, because the hook is going to be so massive when you're potentially facing, an 0-3 deficit in a series. And so they've got Eric Lauer. They've got some long end kind of bullpen guys that they could potentially go with. I think that's the route of kind of going with the quick hook. And when you start playing the matchups through that first 5 frames, it's always going to cater towards the under. But on that back end, you're kind of hoping for some of those dudes just kind of to unravel and kind of go down a really bad well. I think we could see a scoring standstill if it comes from the Mariners side. But yeah, I think the hook is going to be really, really fast for Bieber if he ends up struggling right out the gate here in the second.
Guys, I wonder, one of the reasons I don't like the 2-3-2 format is you do play games 3, 4, and 5 back to back to back. There's no day off, unlike a 2-2, 1-1-1 series. So they got Scherzer lined up for tomorrow, Rob. Now, this guy hasn't pitched in 3 weeks, and when his last 2 outings were atrocious, he couldn't get out of the first inning out of one of them. I wonder if they just say, all right, Max, we're going to bump you up, and if this thing gets to 4-0, rather than relying on Scherzer tomorrow, maybe use him today. Is there another guy that they would have on enough rest for tomorrow?
No,
Toronto?
Scott. No, it's Scherzer.
No?
They've planned this. It's locked in with Scherzer. And how many innings is he going to be able to go? It's a great point that you raised.
Yeah, I mean,
he pitched well early in the year, and he surprised people. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, Scherzer's looking good. He's dialed in. Can't stay healthy. Let's just call it out for what it is. But yeah, they've had this sort of slotted and penciled in that Scherzer's going to be the guy. They're counting Rob and Scott. I'll throw to you, Rob. They're counting on his big game experience, right? That he's been in a spot before, that he can sort of find that lightning in a bottle for an hour or so.
Yeah, and I'll say, if Tariq Skubal can go out there and give up 2 home runs to the Seattle Mariners lineup, what's going to happen with Max Scherzer in a big game? Because, yeah, Clayton Kershaw, he's had his moments, obviously, throughout his career. He got shelled when he first made his appearance in the playoffs here, and I kind of feel like it's going to be a very similar trajectory if Max Scherzer ends up taking on a lot of innings tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they better win today. That's the moral of the story, guys. They better win today.
I mean, outside of the obvious of falling behind 3-0, I mean, you really do have to win today.
Yeah. This is an elimination game almost for them. Like, seriously.
His last 2
they lose
outings,
tonight. They're not. Next time they go back to Toronto is to pack their bags.
Yeah. He gave up 4 runs on 10 hits in 5 innings against the Red Sox. His last outing, September 24th. And then the time before that, he gave up 7 runs in 2/3 of an inning against power-hitting Kansas City. And now he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks plus. Good gravy. So, all right. So Seattle's the play, or the Toronto, right now the underdog at plus 350. Bottom of the second.
We got to find out, Scott, if Rob is concerned. Forget about the Blue Jays, Rob. Let's go Sam Houston State. Can these poor bastards get their first win of the season? I say they can. and I say Delaware overrated. I'm with you, Wetzel. I'm on Jacksonville State plus the points as well. Let's go.
Yeah, and Sam Houston, Phil Longo. Man, well, I'm a big Casey Keeler guy, and obviously he ties into 2 teams tonight. Tied into Delaware, tied into Sam Houston last season. But without Casey Keeler, this offense kind of feels like it was just they chopped off their manhood, essentially. They don't push the ball downfield. They don't really have any semblance of offense when you're looking at this Phil Longo approach. And UTEP, as bad as they are offensively and as bad as they looked last week, does it really matter if you're just completely inept on the other side? I tend to think that Sam Houston can't win any games, and so I stayed away from that one. But yeah, it kind of feels like
this was a
DJ
special. But me and Scott talk about him every week. Scott, remember they play every Tuesday and Wednesday, so they've come. Last week they came close to Jacksonville State, right? That was the one. They scored the late drive. They've been knocking on the door, but you're right. They went from you're running an option, you're running the football all the time. You see it all the time, guys, where a college football program will completely change. They'll change the coach and change the style that they play. All right, you don't have the players. You recruited a bunch of players to run the ball. Now you're asking them to run this air raid offense. You see with Rich Rodriguez all the time. anytime Rich Rod goes to a new program, like, it's not the type of players that fit his mold and stuff. So I'm not surprised, but the kids do play hard. I'm kind of pulling for them. We're getting 3, so I don't need them to win as long as they can lose by 3 or less.
UTEP, Rob, had been underdogs on the road 19 straight times. I looked it up. Don't ask why, but I did. In 10 years plus, 10 years and then this year, they've only been a road favorite 6 times, and half of those were against New Mexico State.
How did they do? How did they do in those spots?
You know what I did? I was so stunned when I found them being favored. I didn't even bother to look up and see how they did, to tell you the truth, Gabe.
I just wanted not that it matters, though. Not that it matters. Well, it doesn't affect tonight. But
I mean, 6 times in 10 years, Sam Houston's got to get the win tonight, right, Rob? No? Double down on our bet right now, down 14-10 at the half. Getting 4.
They are an 0-6 football team, man.
Yeah.
I have no idea because this Sam Houston secondary is terrible. Their quarterback, Hunter Watson, who actually played really well last season, kind of feels like he's just there's no trust in him, and so he's lost all of his confidence. They've gone to the backup a couple times, who looked like he's even worse than you might imagine. And yeah, it just kind of feels like Sam Houston would need a safety and maybe a pick 6 to kind of get within this game to have that chance at 3.5.
We got a good one on Friday, guys. Louisville and Miami, Florida, Friday night.
Yeah.
Hurricanes.
How about that? Very nice Friday schedule. Rob, great job, man. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he played last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He was reading books, and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley. Even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the grid. Thanks again as chatting with a good buddy, Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com. We got Cam Stewart coming up at the top of the hour. We got Paul Bovey, VegasInsider.com, and then Mark Zitto to close out the program. So bottom of the second game, or top of the third rather, does look like Bieber's settled down at least a little bit. Anyway, he struck out the side in the bottom of the second inning, so he's got a lot of.
Well, that's more than settling down.
Yeah,
he struck out the side. He looked good. He got rattled early, so we'll see though. Can the look offense this series here? The Blue Jays have 1 home run. The Mariners have 5.
Wow.
Like that says it all right there, doesn't it? Huh? I mean, seeing the numbers. I hate to simplify baseball, but it's almost like a 3-point percentage now in a basketball game. He who shoots the 3 wins the game, right? And you sort of who hit the most home runs. It sucks that this is what it's come to, but this is what it's come to. Who's hit the most home runs generally, just wins the game. But Seattle have been dominant here. Good job by Bieber stopping the bleeding, but it's up to the Blue Jays bats, Scott, who have really done very little throughout this entire series.
Yeah. It's like, listen, you go from playing the Yankees and you get all the excitement, and then you got to come. That's why, listen, I don't know if anyone could do some kind of goofy study or whatever, Gabe, but the celebrating that all the teams really do. So I guess it all washes itself out. But when I see a team struggle, I just see that. I just can't help but think about them celebrating like they created the cure for cancer. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. It's crazy.
The Jays went a little hard. Like they kind of, like the celebration in the room was a little over the top, right? But like you said, they all do it. I mean, Scott, the LA Dodgers celebrated. They won the World Series last year. They celebrated after they beat the Phillies. Like, really? Like even if I was on the team and I'm even a drinker, I'd be like, what are we celebrating? I'd be like, guys, whatever, dude. All right, have your drinks. I'm going home. I'd be walking out of the club. I'll see you later. Like, we got another series to play in 2 days.
We got another series.
We won the champion. Like, who cares? We just won the wild card series. Like, we're World Series champions. We're going to celebrate? It's like storming the field. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't storm the field here because we won a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't do that. I know you kids want to have fun, but we don't do that. But, yeah, look, the Jays right now, Scott, they got something going. They got a runner on second base. So,
Ooh, it's down to 2-1 homer.
It's gone.
I think we got a 2-run homer.
It's gone. Jimenez of all people.
Wow.
This guy hit like 3 home runs last year for the Guardians. He's got like 12 or 15 this year. Like, I don't know where this power came from. We got a 2-2 baseball game. Just like that.
Number 9 hitter.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I said it earlier. I said the bottom. Remember, I said it to you and Rob. I said the bottom of the Jays order has been better than the top. The Lucases of the world, the Miles Straws of the world, the Jimenez is they've been delivering. Let's see if Springer. I'm telling you, though, Scott, you can't tell me that Bieber mowing down the side, 3 strikeouts like that
helped him a little bit.
Doesn't everyone in the dugout going, all right, let's go. We got a game here. We got a game. You know what I mean? Yeah. As opposed to, oh, God, it's 5-0. We're screwed. It's 2-2 right now. Just like that.
Even like ground outs or flyouts, having to be strikeouts, even though it's an out and out, right? But even that, I think,
more,
helped
Scott.
a little bit more. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
All right, we got the Bieber that we've seen, pitch for us. So
and Bieber sending the message to the manager too. I got this. I'm good. Just back off now. If I was Bieber, I'd just let him go now.
Yeah. Well, under 15.5 outs is looking a little better now with Kirby as well. So he's got 29 pitches.
Yeah,
now
we'll see.
So
who panics first? All right, which manager panics first and gets that hook?
Who goes
I say
to the
Jays. I think the Jays. I think, I don't know though. Because Wilson has done some strange things with his pitchers too, but he's gotten away with it because they win all the time. So it's not as highlighted, right, as some of the other teams, but. If you're the Jays, nice, you know what I mean? It's good. At least you got the bats going a little bit here right now. And now you're working Kirby's pitch count up. He's up to 30 pitches right now.
Yeah. We'd like to get a good game, right? We really haven't had a great game. At least as far as runs and scoring opportunity. The 2-1 Dodger one, that was a boring one. Right?
What about the Blue Jays and the Yankees? I don't think there were any close games either.
No.
Basically, the Blue Jays blow you out or they get blown out, it seems.
Yeah.
They don't play in close games.
Yeah. So it's been
That's why I was worried about that 2.5. We were just getting 2.5 with the Jays. But I'm already on the Jays. But I was worried. I'm like I was just thinking though, I'm like, man, but when they lose, they lose. They either win or they lose. So they're like a football team that the point spread doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. I thought that line was a little low anyway. I was gonna say it, but whatever. We just sometimes you have these thoughts. But when they were 2-0, it was only 4-1. Like I've seen 2-0 leads be 6-1 when it's the favorite that's leading the game like that. I thought that was.
I was just surprised as high as it was. Personally,
really?
Yeah, no, really, yeah. I was like, really, -410. Like dude, the Blue Jays were the game was a near pick'em. Right? They were only +110 right before the game, +108 or whatever before the game. So it's not like they were big underdogs to begin with, and they're only down 2 runs. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty big number. And credit Rob. Listen, it hasn't won yet, obviously, but Rob did say, hey, I would grab that +280 right now with the Jays. I'm not. He didn't give up on it.
You know what he did have? He had. Now, listen, he put it in before he came on our show, but he had the over 1.5 runs against Kirby, first 5.
Boom.
He played that, he said.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, and he brought it up. Thanks for sort of jarring me here with that. I saw that last night, Scott, with the pitchers, and I was thinking about that with Yamamoto. And I was on Yamamoto last night. I bet the strikeout's over, but I thought he was going to pitch well. And I saw the 1.5, and I thought, I can't bet that to the under. Like, that bet, Scott, has to be an over or nothing, right? Because one walk, one swing at a bat, you lose the bet.
Yeah,
like 2 runs, it's not a lot. Like, I would bet the over. I wouldn't take the under. I don't care if it was Nolan Ryan, bro, or Steve Carlton. I'd be like, nah, I can't bet 1.5 runs. Pitchers give up too many home runs nowadays.
Yeah, I tell you, there's another line that fluctuates during the game as well. About that we back to game line.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he played last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the grid. So closing out hour number 1, we got baseball 2-2, and here come the Blue Jays down 2-0 early on. Not necessarily left for dead by any stretch, but still down 2-0. Now it's 2-2, and they got runners on second and third with 1 out. So prime position in the middle of the order. There's Santander again.
Yeah, here he is batting cleanup. This is his shot. I said, I expect him to do something. Vlad has been better
Yeah.
on the road, just for the record, too. Vladimir Guerrero batting .371 on the road his last 15 road playoff games in September and in the playoffs. He tries to play hero ball at home. Like I'm telling you, like the Jays go on the road and then hit the ball. I keep on going back to this, Scott Santander. Would be a good time for you to do something, man, and make your money.
Think about this. Think about
and
this,
instead, he
Gabe.
squibs out to the first baseman. This is big if the Mariners get out of this.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about this. You had runners on second and third, one out. You had an open base. You got a right-handed pitcher, Kirby, batting against or throwing against a left-handed hitter, Santander, and you got Alejandro Kirk, who couldn't beat a snail in a race, on deck, a righty, perfect double play guy, and they still decided to pitch to Santander. So what does that tell you about what Seattle thinks about this dude? Right? They're not afraid to face him at all. I mean, that is the classic walk-him situation. Classic situation.
Great call. Great point. And he's only in the lineup due to his numbers versus Kirby. As I mentioned earlier, he's hitting 400 against them because he's cold. Right? Like the bench guys are better. He hasn't even played. He wasn't part of the Blue Jay season. Like they've dropped him in here because it's like, wow, he's making $35 million. Let's see if he can hit a home run for us. Right? He didn't hear. Wow. Speaking of Alejandro Kirk, now it's Kirk. And yeah, if you saw him, like people ask, what do you think Kirk does for a living if you saw him? I say plumber. Yeah. I said plumber. Garbage man.
Be good. Garbage man. Yeah. I used to think this,
he's an all-star. He'd be like all-star catcher. You'd be like, that guy's not an all-star. Like, that guy's not a professional baseball player. Like, no.
Come on. Yeah. You put him in a
like
lineup,
he's 5'6", about 260. Hey, he's like
bowling
he
ball.
looks like a little rhinoceros, like the wrestler Rhino. Yeah. But he's actually athletic. He can barrel a little bit, but man, this kid, he can really hit. Kirk can really hit the ball. That's why he's in the big leagues.
Remember Steve Balboni back in the 80s? Yeah. He bounced around the league, right? He was on the Yankees there for a little while. So when I was covering the Yanks for a local radio station, I swear, like it was yesterday, I remember talking to him. Nicest guy in the world. He would be sitting there, Gabe, and they have lawn chairs back then, right? I'll date myself here in the locker. He's sitting back in a lawn chair. He's got his Budweiser in his hand. And, he's taking questions. He's bald on top there, And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I saw this guy walking down the street, never in a million years would I ever say Major League Baseball player.
Never.
But he was good.
People never. No, you never do. You never think. I swear to God, people think, hockey players, these are the toughest guys. Like, if you saw Cale Makar in real life, like the best defenseman in the NHL, you'd be like, no way. No way. Number one, he looks like he's like 19. Number two, he's skinny. He's not like, no. That's not one of the best. Like, they look like kids in real life, right? Football players kind of stick out because they're big. Basketball players, but you never know. Look, I saw a video today, Scott. It was Max Muncy riding a scooter with his dog in a backpack. If you saw this guy, you'd think, man, what a tool. Like just some guy going to Whole Foods or something. You know what I mean? That's not like this guy's like the LA Dodgers. You know what I mean? Like
World
Series
Series
have the same
MVP.
vision of like driving a Lamborghini through Beverly Hills. Hey, there goes a Dodger. You know what I mean? No, Max Muncy's got like this puppy on his shoulder, and he's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" He's riding a scooter through the neighborhood. People are like, "Hey, there's Max Muncy. Good luck, Max." It's like, "Hey man, the modern athlete's changed, Scott."
Yeah.
Look at Mac Jones. How weird he is. Like he's just this geeky, weird dude. Like, you know what I mean? He's a goofball. That's why it's just
you could work as hard as you could want to work, but to me, I always say, Gabe, you got to be given God-given talent. You just do. I mean, you can't give it and not work at it.
All these people have worked at it, Scott. It's God didn't put them here.
No, I understand that, but you can work as long as you want.
God said, Alejandro Kirk, I'm going to make you 5'8", stout little 5'6", dude, and you're going to be a big league player.
Yeah.
For the record, the Jays just scored on a pass ball.
Nice. Well, I shouldn't say nice, but it's only the second. This poor Colorado.
Michael Jordan, Scott. Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team.
Right.
Did he work? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, it was work. It was work. Like that whole people say that like, oh, Larry Bird worked for it and Michael Jordan has God-given talent. Like that's the biggest worst take ever. I'm not saying that's your take, but man, the Jays are rolling. They're busting it open.
3-2 now minus 560 favorites. Yikes.
let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year, he won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard. Keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. So quite a flip from about 50 minutes ago when Seattle had a 2-0 lead cruising through the first inning and a half. But it's been all Toronto. 5-2, Blue Jays now lead heading to the bottom of the third inning. This is going to be a long game. And Toronto flipped from being a heavy underdog after being down 2-0, as you would suspect, and now they're minus 520 favorites. You can grab Seattle at
That's
plus
wild.
350 on the money line or 2.5 runs. Yeah,
Seattle, I thought it was crazy. Seattle were minus 410 when we had Rob on before, and now Toronto. Yeah. So you really could have grabbed. You could at some point, some bettors out there somewhere have both teams at like plus 300 right now. But this total guy sitting at in game right now at 11.5. I got 11.5 minus 130 to the over. We're already at 7 runs right now. There's a hell of a lot of baseball left to be played in this game, right? We're going into the 4th inning here right now. How far is Bieber really going to go? How long will, the bottom of the third? So we're in the bottom of the third now, going into the 4th when the Jays bat. But how long is Bieber really going to go? The Blue Jays bullpen has been shaky. The Mariners have shown power at the plate. Hell, they hit 5 home runs in two games in 3 innings so far already, right? So I think the over 11.5 is worth a play. Even I'm not a big baseball total bettor in the playoffs, but I wouldn't be betting the under 11.5. I'll tell you that, guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's bring in Cam Stewart, our good buddy, Sports Grid host. You see it here all the time here on the grid. Get his thoughts. What's going on, Cam? 5-2, Toronto over Seattle. What side are you on to start the game, and what would you do right now?
Well, Gabe and I are both on the Blue Jays. We had that pick when we did the podcast, and I'm on the over 7, so that's a push right now. To Gabe's point, 11.5 with minus 20 juice seems pretty respectable because we got a lot of baseball left. Bieber's not going to go much longer. They can't screw around. I don't think we're going to have. I think we're going to have a bullpen game for the Mariners too. So the 7 runs right now. What do you need? You need 4.5 runs to 12 gets you there. I think we can get there. So I would look at the over right now. I'm very happy with the side. I wish we started the show half an hour early. Gabe and Scott, because they had the Blue Jays plus 2.5 plus money on FanDuel, which there wasn't even any juice on it, which was kind of shocking. I thought maybe the books were thinking the Jays were absolutely going to get shelled, but Bieber got out of it, only down a couple, and great response by the Blue Jays, guys.
This is big for Bieber now to
settle in.
And he's pitching well again. Like, just keep that pitch count down, Scott, right? Because if I'm the Blue Jays, I don't want to go to the bullpen. right? I want to, you know what I mean? And we'll see if Schneider has learned
Especially
his
with
lesson.
Scherzer.
Yeah, and
Especially
you paid,
with
you know what I
Scherzer
mean?
tomorrow.
Did they watch the Dodgers? Honestly, right? If you're John Schneider. So if you're Schneider, you've taken your pitchers out 2 times too early in the series already. You've seen the Dodgers take out Snell and nearly blow the game. You saw Yamamoto go the distance last night. No way in hell am I saying to anybody that Bieber's going the distance tonight. The guy had Tommy John surgery, right? But Bieber can give you 5 innings, right? So if you know what I mean, he's not getting hit, hell, I don't care if the kid's arm falls off. Like if I can squeeze 6 out of him, I'm squeezing 6 out of him. Like, you know, I don't know what his max pitch count type is, but I'm in no rush to go to the bullpen. And if I'm Bieber, I don't want to go to the bullpen either. So I want to show the manager and the pitching coach here, I got this. Don't even worry about the bullpen. I'm mowing people down here right now. And just right on cue, Rodriguez gets on a little squibber, but there are 2 out.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard hit. It was
ama-
just a bad luck squibber down the third baseline.
Isn't it amazing? Like they're labeling Dave Roberts last night a genius, and oh my God, what a he went to distance. And something that was like so obvious to everybody watching. Like, don't you dare take this guy out. He actually, does the right thing,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my God, it's so crazy. How about that? Yeah, how about that?
But you know what? You know what though? Doesn't it blow your mind? There's 2 things that blew my mind about this. Number 1, it's the first time since 2017, Scott.
Yeah.
That's the first complete game in the playoffs.
Amazing.
So it's not just Dave Roberts. Yeah, I was like, really, huh? And it was the first, I was like, that can't be true. They said this is the first complete game for a Dodger in the playoffs in 21 years since Uribe in 2004. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Wow.
Uribe?
Right? Like,
good trivia
I mean, they're in the playoffs
So-
every single year, So they
Yeah,
had
so
plenty of
exactly. No,
opportunities.
you know what I was thinking? I was like, you're telling me the Bulldog, but Oral Hershiser was before that,
Hershiser.
so you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he went complete games, but and the other
Fernando
one that
was
blew
before
my
that.
mind was that Max Muncy is the all-time Dodgers home run leader in the playoffs.
In the postseason.
He's got more home runs in the
That's
playoffs
nuts.
than Jackie Robinson or Duke Snyder does.
Yeah.
Max Muncy's the all-time greatest postseason Dodger.
Yeah, postseason. Thanks to 5,000 rounds of the postseason nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So-
And not to mention the Brooklyn Dodgers were playing in the Polo Grounds and stuff like that. It was like 500,
500
feet, miles,
literally.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
you couldn't hit,
Yeah.
you couldn't hit a home run. It was like an airport hangar. It's like, hey, it's
Yeah.
a way back there,
Yeah. So, all right, kid, you got any college football before we get to your golf plays tonight, or any hockey tonight?
College football, yes. Let's. I'm actually going to take a shot with Sam Houston State live in this game. UTEP's kind of hit
Way
a
to
wall, so it's locked right now. But that's the game that I'm looking at. I want the points. I'm getting 4.5. I got 5.5 earlier. I think Sam Houston State keeps this game close. Later hockey tonight. Gabe, great call. We talked about it. The minute I rip the Sabres and call them a bunch of pieces of crap and junk, they score 5 goals, more goals tonight than any game ever. That tells you the Ottawa Senators, like, you guys need major help. Like, if the Buffalo Sabres are taking you out to the woodshed right now at 5-2, you got problems. 8.5. We might even have more goals in that game. The Juice minus 220. No, I think I'll lay off that. Detroit and Panthers. Panthers might be worth a look, but even plus 1.5 is too much juice. Later on tonight, guys, 9:40. The Calgary Flames played Vegas very close the other night. Okay, you're the Utah Mammoth. You're laying 240 on FanDuel. What? 240?
That's what I said.
No. That's, you know what? Out of principle, if it loses, whatever. I'm getting Calgary plus 130, and I'm taking plus 190 on the money line. More to the plus 1.5, but that's ridiculous. The Utah Mammoth should not be laying 240. I like the Blues. The Blackhawks, we talked about, Gabe, on our podcast. They're going to be a gritty team, but St. Louis at home should win. I don't want to lay 250. So even a plus 1.5 with Calgary and a St. Louis Blues money line is to plus 144. That's something I can sink my teeth into, guys, there. So that's what I'm looking at on the ice right now, and Sam Houston State live at plus 4.5.
All right. We'll bring you back and you do your golf the next segment. But
Sure.
give me your strategy, Cam. Not that there's a wrong answer, but I like there's whole different ways you can do it. I like betting teams to win in regulation. Like, I bet St. Louis to win in regulation. You put yours in a parlay. Gabe likes to lay a goal and a half, or other people like to lay a goal and a half just to get that number down. Like, do you have a system that you rely on all the time, or do you go from game to game and change that stuff?
game to game. I think everybody's system's right. I think regulation, if you have a book with a 3-way line, you could do that.
Yeah.
I think laying 1.5 is good with an empty net goal because we get them a lot of the time. And sometimes I like taking plus 1.5 with a dog that I can think will win the game. I just look at a line, guys, and go, sure, the Mammoth, but like minus 240, that's nuts. Like it's ridiculous. So it's one of those things. Sometimes you bet a number out of principle. If they win, so be it. But it switches every night, guys. You guys know that. Sometimes you lay the 1.5. Sometimes you parlay it. The public parlays usually go to die. But tonight I'll take the plus 1.5 with Calgary, and I'll sprinkle on the money line because the price is right.
Yeah. This number is high though for kind of a Calgary have not been good this year. They won the opening game against the Edmonton Oilers. Last night against Vegas, I had Vegas, and Calgary played well for the first, period and a half type of deal. Then the wheels just started falling off. I think this team has problems, Calgary.
Yeah. We'll get to Cam's golf picks when we come back to Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
You may be surprised, because I am, that the athlete in the world who has become the first billionaire is Cristiano Ronaldo. I did not know that, and I did not have that on my bingo card. So after his contract that he just signed, it means that he's the first athlete to ever earn $1 billion playing sports.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
I told you Vladimir Guerrero would hit a home run. He hits a home run on his first pitch. 2-run shot, 2-0 Jays. And I gave you Suarez earlier. I'm telling you, Scott, Contreras last night, Story the other night, bro, every night I've been hitting these home run props. And not the easy Ohtani ones at old plus 190. Right. These are plus 450s, baby.
In-game live, only on Sports Grid.
Basically a year's worth of starts at this point, because remember, Drake May was not the starter out of the gate during his rookie year last year. That was Jacoby Brissett. There have been some, encouraging performances and, I think some flashes of what could be upper echelon talent within the scope of the league. But going into this year, it was, we're going to find out.
Game time decisions, only on Sports Grid.
Yanks ain't looking good. My Phillies aren't looking good. Can we have a pity party this morning? I mean, what gives?
Listen, you want to talk about cities that aren't doing too well here. You mentioned the Yankees on the brink here. Jets, forget about it. 0-5. Giants, you lose to a winless New Orleans team. Things ain't any better here in the Big Apple. I think sports fans are maybe praying for the New York Rangers, who are certainly better than the New York Islanders.
The early line, only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the Grid. Following suit from last night while we were away, runs being scored. Home run, George Springer, top of the fourth inning, so it's now 6-2 Toronto.
Let me pull a Barry Horowitz, Scott. Remember, George Springer was part of my opening pickoff best bets tonight. Springer over 1.5 total bases, plus 140. I regret not pulling the trigger on the home run, but we'll take that nice plus 140 price on Springer that goes deep. As I stated, Springer steps up in big games for the Jays.
Yeah. By Kirby, under 15.5 is looking halfway decent. The other line, guys, that moves.
I can't believe they've left him in. I said that, what did I say a couple minutes ago? I said he can't come back out for the fourth inning. Boom, he gives up a home run. There's a big difference between 5-2 and 6-2 and 3 runs and 4 runs. I'm amazed. They must just be thinking, you know what? We got 3 games here. We're not going to kill our bullpen this early in this series here with these next 3 games. But the Jays are fired up in the dugout right now, and they're letting the Jays sort of pull away right now, 6-2.
Yeah. I hate that kind of thinking, though. I really do. It's postseason. I don't want to give up on a game. I don't care what, I've seen too many comebacks. You lead the majors in home runs, for goodness sakes, or your top 5 team. You're at home. You got a sold-out crowd. Place is buzzing, and you're going to kind of give up on the game.
Yeah, now you're letting the Jays get all their confidence back. They got the home run jacket. They're high-fiving. Everybody's happy. It's like
it's not like they're up 9 runs.
Confidence matters in baseball.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a 4th inning.
It's not over.
There's
a lot of baseball left. Yeah, that's. But Gabe's right, though. That's what they're doing. They're going to go Kirby. You go as long as you can till your arm falls off, and we'll talk about it later. But it's also a weird strategy. The Mariners actually have a better bullpen than the Blue Jays, but we'll see what happens here. But I guess that's their move, is to keep this guy in as long as they can.
I'll tell you,
I promise you, Wilson will be getting ripped for it.
I don't know. That'll be it. If that's what he says, then that'll be interesting.
If the LA Dodgers or if the Yankees left the starting pitcher in after giving up 6 runs in 3 innings, they'd want Dave Roberts' head on a platter. We pulled Yamamoto because he gave up 3 effing runs the other night to the Phillies. It was like, all right, we got to get you out of here. Sorry. Look at Sasaki. Sasaki got 2 guys on base. Yeah, we're paying you $25 million. Sorry, kid. Give me the ball. You can't worry about hurt feelings in this stuff. I would have pulled him right away. He got out of the inning before with Kirby, and when we got to the dugout, I just would have told him, good job, you're done for the day. We're moving on now. Instead, now it's 6-2.
For no other reason, you limit his pitch count, and then you can bring him back for a game 6 or 7 if you have that much confidence.
And you could use him for relief purposes later in the series, too. You can pop him up in a weird spot.
Yeah. Exactly.
The series line, when Seattle was leading 2-0, first of all, it started today, Seattle minus 7-1, right? Gabe and I talked about this. Then when Seattle took a 2-0 lead, it went up to 11-1 to win the series.
Minus 1,100. 1,100 to win 100.
Yeah, right. Now it's down to minus 330.
Unbelievable.
So you can even middle series bets. Forget about the game bets. That's how crazy some of these websites are. They update everything. It's really like, old school, that would be off the board. And they would just wait for the game to be over. But
love the live market. It's like the WNBA futures that we were talking about. Every basket price would change, right? It's the same thing with baseball, right? Yeah. The only common thing is the Dodgers are favored. That's the common. That's the common thing.
What do you got with golf for us, Cam? Pretty good, pretty good lineup this weekend.
Oh, I'm actually really impressed. Obviously, Xander Schauffele won last week. We had a lot of guys in the mix, and big win for him. And a lot of these guys are taking time off, but Victor Hovland's there, Rory McIlroy's there, Tommy Fleetwood, a lot of very good golfers, Shane Lowry. So this is what we're going to do with India. This course, guys, it's very, very short. When I was looking at the dimensions of this course, you don't see many courses on tour, DP Tour or PGA Tour, 6,900. That's most average 73, 74. So it brings a lot of small ball hitters into effect. And who's a very good small ball hitter is Brian Harman. He's a guy that gets it around. He won the Open Championship in good conditions on a very short course. That's the thing about Scotland and Ireland. When the weather picks up, then things get dangerous. But he's great on these short courses. So I'll take a shot with Harman at 22-1. Arnavin Lahiri is a guy from India that has played this course more than anybody. He's very familiar with the track, has had great performances there, and doing quite well on the LIV Tour. Lots of top 10s and lots of money collected. So at 38-1, I think he's a very, very solid bet. Adrian Sadier is a hot player that we've talked about before. I'd really like to see him break through, but a lot of top 10 performances. He's 55-1. And Bernd Wiesberger, this guy is very good. One of the better players that people don't know about. And finally, he is in form at 125-1. But Gabe and I talked about this tournament. There's a lot of guys in the 40 to 60 range that are world-class players that could do very, very well at this tournament. It brings everybody in. Hovland looks dangerous. Morency, and I know you like Ben Griffin, who could do very well. I have a matchup bet. Ben Griffin against Rory McIlroy getting over 2-1.
That's my pick to win. Ben Griffin.
Ben Griffin? Yeah.
He's so, yeah.
Who's the Gabe? We always talk, and Cam, we always talk, right? I'm always asking you for one guy it's going to be 50, 60 to 1 at least every tournament that we're just going to play every single week and just say, you know what, all you got to do is just hit one time this season. You got a guy like that this year?
Well, we had Cole before for like top tens and stuff like that. Not really. You're done with him. He's kind of. I'm basically we're rinsing out Eric Cole. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that guy too. But watch out for Luke Clanton. He's a guy that I think. But this is the whole thing. A lot of the PGA Tour guys are taking time off, but he's 40 to 60s. He's been really trending upwards. And a lot of these young guys, it takes them a while to get acclimated to the PGA Tour, but he's been very good. A lot of top 20s, top 10s, and that's what you have to do. Look at guys who are rising as a stock, and I'd watch out for Luke Clanton a little bit later on because this guy is game, but that's a guy I'd be keeping my eye on moving to the future in the silly season.
All right. Luke Clanton it is. So that's the guy we'll play a little bit on each time. Cam, great job as always, man. Appreciate it. Good luck with all your plays, and we'll talk to you again on Friday, right?
You got it, guys. Have a good one. Good luck with everybody's bets. Let's win some money tonight.
All right. In-game live game day on the grid here. We got college football. We got baseball. We got the little NHL.
Jacksonville State's on the goal line.
Nice. Let's get some more. First and goal. There you go.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he played last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the grid. Thanks again, Cam Stewart, for joining us. We'll chat with him again on Friday, I'm sure. So baseball 6-2.
Bieber.
What do we got?
Hey, it's another strikeout. No, Bieber's grooving.
Yeah.
Bieber's grooving.
Now. Wow. He's got
4.5
pitches. Yeah. Nice little adjusted line would have been a nice little play.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, he's 60. What are you, 61? Because, dude, he was at like 30 in the second inning. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's really
that's how he's going to go. Yeah.
It's minimized. Like, and that's why if you're the Jays, like, why even thinking about the pen? It's like, dude, this guy's getting better each inning. Like, he's not getting worse. He's getting better as the game goes on, Bieber, right now. Like, he's dialed in. Like, he's got the Mariners fooled, and the Mariners look frustrated. I'm telling you guys, if you're a Mariner player, you go back to Seattle, you're up 2-0. You see all the fans on the street. You pull into the stadium. Everybody, hey, what's up? How you doing? Let's go Mariners. You're in the stadium. You're all fired up, and it's a big letdown. You're down 6-2. It's hard to get it back, Scott. Saw it with the Jays, man. I'm telling you, man, home field can be a killer at times like this. The crowd gets too into it, and you get caught up in it, right? I'm telling you, hockey teams in the playoffs, they're always better on the road, and they always say the same thing. We play more just sort of simple on the road. Yeah, we get it home. We try to impress the power play, and I've heard guys say the national anthem, you get caught up in it, and like the crowd, you get caught up in a moment like a fan does, and right? You go on the road. Players are driven by silencing crowds, man. Ken Danico told me that. Danico said, man, he said, Gabe, there was nothing better than beating the Rangers in MSG and just hearing a pin drop. He goes, just like it's the greatest thrill. Like, he goes, it's better than winning at home. You know?
It's like, what I like to do, Gabe, for holidays is I always enjoy betting on the road team.
Yes, me
whether
too.
it's Thanksgiving or whatever, right? It's like, why? It's like, because they're on a business trip. No matter what day it is, they're not going home. They're not looking at the clock. They're staying at a hotel. Yeah, they're like, whatever. Our holiday is shot. Meanwhile, the home team's thinking, all right, I got this, I got that at home, I got family, friends, They're all
even players, guys, they're humans, right? So even the players like, son of a bitch, man, my wife's mother's coming to stay with us, and it's going to cost me this, and I don't like her, or the family, or like, you know what I mean? Like you said, you got kids, and like, it's a distraction. You said teams. That's why when teams, smart teams, Scott, you notice, like, not all teams do this, but as the playoffs go on, they do. In hockey, they do for the playoffs. You stay in a hotel, Scott, in your hometown even.
Right. To get away from it all. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to go home. It's not like, you're in jury, but it's like you're in jury duty. It's like, go home, see the kid and the wife for an hour or two, but we have a team dinner at 5:00 at the hotel, and then it's lights out, and like we're closing the doors of the hotel. Because of this, guys. You can't have couples arguing, and like, it's real life, man. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Oh, you're cheating on me. And you know what I mean? You're cheating. I just found out you're cheating on me on the road. Like, you know what I mean? You're going on the road in a playoff game. Like, so you can't have this. Like, guys are like, not now, right? Like, block all that stuff out. 7-2, another home run. Yeah, great job keeping Kirby in. Like, yeah, I'm wrong on this, right, guys? So, like, really? 7-2, Scott? They still have the pitcher in?
If I don't hit this under 15.5 bet, if you would have told me he'd given up 7 runs, I would have been like,
that'll be the worst beat of all beats. If you told me that guy's giving up 7 runs in a playoff game and they left him in and you lose the bet because of this.
Yeah.
They take guys out that are good, Scott. Think about that. Like, guys that are good don't last this long.
They take out the good guys and leave the bad guys in. It's impossible to watch playoff baseball if you know what you're doing. It is so frustrating, and I don't even really have a dog in the fight, but we got this under bet. But
now the moral, Scott, is it's hard to bet on the L props with the pitchers because you don't know what the hell these managers are going to do.
Yeah, when I bet the unders, then they stay in. When I bet the overs, then they come out after 2 batters. It's just
for the love of God, though, 7 runs. Like, if I was a Mariner player at this point, I'd be mad. I'd be like, "What are we doing here? Like, are we just mailing this game in?" Yeah. Like, you're sending a message to the rest of the team. Yeah, we're going to lose today. We don't care if we lose. Like, I called it. I said it could be 4-2. 5-2, 6-2, 7-2. It doesn't stop.
I'll tell you, when they score like 2 or 3 runs and end up losing this thing like 9-6 or 9, they'll be kicking themselves, saying, "You know what? Well, we threw it away." I just don't believe in throwing away playoff games. Best of 7 series.
Guarantee
they go fast.
They're cursing Wilson right now. All right, here we got a piece of good news. Touchdown, Sam Houston State.
Nice. We're back
Punching
in it.
back.
We're back
Let's go.
in it.
Punching back.
let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year. He won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah, blah, blah. He's complaining this year, too. And he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards. And then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could go compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. So just to put the baseball aside here for a second, it is 7-2, top of the 6th inning, fifth inning, and finally our guy George Kirby's out of the game. So we're going to win our under 15.5 bet out props bet. So we got that. We got a little college football and NHL. Got some football tomorrow. Let's talk with our good buddy Paul Bovey, VegasInsider.com. Check out the website, the great website, VegasInsider.com. Paul, Scott, and Gabe, how are you tonight, bud? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Here I am in I was going to say Seattle, Toronto, where we could hear the cheers. Yeah, they're coming right into the apartment here. It's awesome because the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you're right next to the stadium, huh? Are you going to go to a game? You're right next to the stadium. You got to go if you're right there.
I'm outside the Scotia Arena. I'm right there on Bremer Street.
So walk down the street.
We're moving tomorrow to front, right outside the stadium. So the only reason I wouldn't make a game is just because it coincides with football. Unfortunately, they're on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and there's a doubleheader in the NFL on Monday night, so I wouldn't want to miss that one.
All right. Let's start football tomorrow. Pittsburgh and Joe Flacco with the Cincinnati Bengals. They struggled first half against Green Bay. A little bit better second half. But what are we getting out of the Cincinnati Bengals this week? Any reason they're 5.5-point home underdogs against Pittsburgh?
I like them this week because, look, the Steelers have been fortunate this year. We saw how they opened up the season, 34-32 against the Jets, who have been futile ever since. They got fortunate with New England, 5 turnovers. They caught Cleveland in the right spot, coming back from England or Europe or wherever it was. And, they get the game there. They get the inexperienced quarterback. But Cincinnati's been doing better work the last few weeks, notably against Green Bay. They held Detroit to just around 300 yards of offense, although they did pile up 37 points. Cincinnati played well on defense, and I just think Flacco does a better job than Jake Browning in terms of getting rid of the ball, because that was the big problem with Jake Browning. They were putting him on the turf far too often, and I like the Bengals to stay in the game here versus an overrated Pittsburgh team that may be without a few defensive players.
Let me ask you, Paul, about the Rams. Are the Rams a good team? right? They're one of these teams like they've won some games this year, but I wonder how good they are. And I think the jury is out on Jacksonville a little bit. But as crazy as it sounds, I think this might be a spot for the Jags against the Rams. Any opinion on that game? And which is a weird Sunday card of matchups this weekend.
So I bet the Rams on the open, not knowing that Puka Nacua was going to be out for a few weeks. So now I'm going to take a step back, but I would say that Trevor Lawrence has a ceiling. He has shown us that he is nothing more than an average quarterback, and the birthday gods were with him in that Monday night game against Kansas City, where there was the 99-yard turnaround there on a pick six. He only passed for slightly over 200 yards. He's not a good quarterback. The whole Seahawks secondary was out last week, and he couldn't do anything. Julian Love out, Witherspoon out, and then Wooten went out. Those guys collectively, 35 passes defended last year out of 75 total, and he couldn't move the ball. And he hit the turf too many times. He was taking too long to get rid of the ball. I don't think much of him as a quarterback, so I would have to lean to the Rams.
Got conflicting trends here, and not really trends, but systems, Paul. We got the coaches fired system with Tennessee, but they're hosting the New England Patriots and Mike Vrabel, who was, of course, fired by Tennessee a couple years ago.
Another run for the Blue Jays. Just have to keep people up to date.
Yeah,
8-2 Toronto right now. We told you guys that 11.5 felt a little light, too, with the in-game total. But 8-2 Jays, top of 5 right now, first and third.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul? Patriots laying 7 on the road against Tennessee.
I'm not laying 7. I'm not prepared to lay 7 on the road with the Patriots. Look, are we getting to the point where we're overvaluing the road team here a little bit off of a few wins? And I think this Buffalo team, and even Gabe might agree, that they have some flaws. So they get Buffalo, I believe it was 23-20. Yeah, they have a few flaws. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago before they took that loss against the Patriots, that they were a flawed team. So then they go in, a fairly comfortable win last week. I think you had a lot of guys wide open. Drake May looked pretty good, but again, the secondary wasn't good, and he capitalized on it. So I'm not ready to lay 7.5 on the road. And Tennessee, look, they've been playing a little bit better lately. Not a lot better, a little bit better. 7.5 taking it at home, or 7.5, I should say, laying on the road, is not the path to profits in the NFL. So I would stay away from the game or take the points.
We got to talk about the 1 seed, the best team in the AFC. The Indianapolis Colts. And I don't know if I'm being fictitious or sarcastic when I say that, but if the playoffs started this weekend, the Colts are the 1 seed right now. What do you think of this game, Paul, against LA's other team, the LA Chargers? Game's a near pick 'em. Chargers 1.5 favorites. Not the same team without Slater and Alt, as we've seen. Are you buying in? You've always been a pro Daniel Jones guy. Now he's lighting it up. What's your take on the Colts and the Charger game? Hell, Colts could be it's a big game, man. If the Colts win this, then it really does become like, wow, they actually are playing for a home field advantage for real.
The Colts have lost 3 guys in the secondary, and one of those guys got hurt, sustained a concussion, Ward, in the warm-ups last week. And I was on Indy -5 at the open, and it went up ultimately to 9 or 10. Then when the injury occurred, back down to 8.5. And of course, they did not get the cover. They were fortunate with a non-call in the end zone, which would have possibly given the Cardinals the win, but they held on. But the problem is that secondary, losing those 3 guys, one to injury in Kenny Moore, and then Xavier Howard pulls the retirement card, and then you had this past week again, Ward. So I think it's an over game, and the Chargers were very successful against Miami in the third quarter when Justin Herbert went to a short passing game. There was a point where they threw 13 consecutive balls in the air, and I think they completed at least 12 of them, and they moved the ball seamlessly down the field. That short passing game was really a help to that beleaguered offensive line, and that's what helped them go on and win the game, although they had to come back, kick a late field goal after allowing Miami to score a few times. So I think these two teams are going to move the ball. And again, if the Colts are down in the secondary, that's just going to make things better for the Chargers.
Listen, we've seen a guy already be fired, albeit in his second year, Paul, but they're starting to write articles here in New York about Aaron Glenn being like completely overmatched. Any way he loses at home, it's 1.5 points. And we got a quarterback, Bryce Young, who's 1-15 on the road for his career. Jets can't lose this weekend, can they? Again?
I mean, we've been saying that. You know, the crazy thing is, if to this point, Aaron Glenn's hallmark of his coaching career would be that sideline rant in the Tampa Bay game when they took a lead.
The sideline celebration. And the poor bastard, they lost the game after.
And they lost the game. I actually, I lost the total on that game. I caught the Jets. It was one of the few breaks I had this year, but I would not bet with the Jets. Carolina's gotten a lot better. They only punted twice against Dallas. One a penalty, one the result of a sack. They've been pretty good lately.
Yeah. Paul, great job, man. We'll do it again soon. Check out the website, VegasInsider.com. Thanks, Paul.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year. He won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, game day here on the grid. Thanks again, Paul Volpe. VegasInsider.com is the website, VegasInsider.com. Just to update the baseball here, 8-2, Toronto did hit another home run, scored another run anyway. They got a runner thrown out at third base to end the inning, but they did score, so it's 8-2. It's up to 13.5 now, bottom of the fifth inning. 17-1, or you want to lay 6.5 or take 6.5. I'm not big on bets like that. So got a couple college football games. We're sitting on Sam Houston State down 4, 21-17 to UTEP. Just started the fourth quarter. Sam Houston's going to get the ball back. So we're sitting in a halfway decent spot. And then Jacksonville State is blowing out Delaware 35-6.
Delaware just scored a touchdown right now. So there's a $1:41 left in the third quarter. And now I tell you what, we sort of needed this for the over as well. We're on the right side with the home team here with Jacksonville State, but we got that over 56, 35-12 right now. It looks like they're going for 2, so we'll keep our eye on this. So, yeah, Delaware touchdown. But, yeah, we're up to 47 right now. So it'd be nice if they get this, too. We just need another touchdown to get at least a push. But the game has opened up. The degenerate special.
Hell yeah, real degenerate special. That's okay. That's why we're here. We bet on them. And then Buffalo just beat Ottawa 8-4. We got the first period Calgary and Utah just getting underway. So let's bring in our good buddy Mark Zito, Sports Grid host. You see it here all the time here on the grid. What's going on, Mark? How are you tonight?
Speaking of degenerates, welcome. Hey, Scotty, look with the new haircut. You're looking very fine tonight, Gabe. You kind of look the same. I'm not really impressed with your efforts.
I was going to say, you noticed my haircut, Mark. Finally, someone noticed. Thank you, Mark.
So, totally unrelated to what I normally am on here to talk about. Are we betting the New York Rangers tomorrow night after back-to-back shutouts against Toronto? And then betting them on Monday at home? Well,
they set an NHL record. By the way, Gabe, I looked it up.
Yeah, it never happened in the history, Scott. Right. We were looking it up last night. It's never happened.
It wasn't three in a row.
No team has ever been shut out 3 games in a row on their home ice before.
Monday night against the Wild at the Garden, we have to hammer the Rangers, right? Like, we have to?
I don't know.
You know what? The Sabres, Mark, were in a spot where they only scored 2 goals on the year. Fans were wearing bags on their head and throwing jerseys on the ice already. They responded with 8 goals tonight. So it is gut check time for the Rangers.
Yeah, we got to play it. Like, I'm not much of a hockey bettor, but I absolutely saw the streak, and I'm like, okay, playing the Rangers on Monday at home against the Wild, might play them tomorrow night in Toronto against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah. They're talking about it here. I did look it up. There was a Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember we looked up it on AI and we were laughing, AI, you can't count on. There actually was a Pittsburgh Pirates hockey team back in the 1920s. So that was legit, believe it or not. So, 3 straight, but no one's gotten 3 straight home games to start a season being shut out. The Rangers already have. Unbelievable.
And by the way, I'm on the under in Sam Houston and
UTEP.
UTEP, yeah, I got 48, and I'm not really feeling happy about it right now.
Yeah,
sort of lingering. Mark, always Sam Houston games always get weird late, huh? Last year they won a lot of close late games. This year they've lost close late, or they've been blown out, but they lost the close Wild one last week.
I was on them last week, and I sprinkled the line, and it almost threw.
Dude, they came back to take the lead with like a minute left, and you thought, all right, these kids are finally going to win a game. And then Jacksonville State scored remember, Scott, they went for the 2.
It was the Buffalo
didn't get
Kansas
the 2.
City thing. Yeah.
It did a minute. They got the 2. Yeah, they missed the 2, and then they lost on a field goal.
Yeah, we had a shot. They would have got that, too. We would have gone to overtime. We could have hit our -6.5 on that one, Gabe. Yeah. But they gave up a winning field goal with like 20 seconds left. It was like Buffalo and Kansas City all over again. They
Fourth
ran
down now midfield for them. 4th and 6 on the 49. Still 11 and a half left.
I'll give you the winning. Just have Sam Houston score one more touchdown that finishes the whole scoring, and we'll call it a night. How's that sound?
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll sign up for that.
In-game total, Mark, is 45.5, and over 45.5 is plus 155. So under 45.5, minus 190.
Yeah.
So the book is thinking this thing. Yeah, so you got a little bit of real estate to work with here.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Anything on Jacksonville State, Delaware, or you didn't go too crazy tonight?
Look, I got chicken. You know what? I got scared. I saw all the money on Delaware, and I'm like, I gotta play Jacksonville. Right? I whisked out. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it.
You know what was for me, Mark? I couldn't help but think. I was on Delaware in that Western Kentucky game, and I just couldn't help but think about the kid missing a bunch of field goals. And I was thinking, man, this could be a close game with Jacksonville State. And also, Scott, people kind of sleep on Jacksonville State. They're a scrappy team, this team. They lost Rich Rod, but they're still battling every week.
Yeah. They won 8 straight at home, too, dating back to last year, obviously. So that they're a good home team. So.
They run the ball well, right? They run the ball like 49 times a game. Like, they run the ball a lot, so it's hard to stop them.
Yeah. sometimes you just look at like Delaware is 2-12 their last 14 FBS road games, and then I got Jacksonville State that's won 8 straight at home. And you want to give me 2.5 points?
Whole world bet on Delaware.
Yeah. That whole world bet on. Yeah, go figure. Right.
The Jays are rolling, so I don't know what there's much to say here. 8-2. What are you going to do with the Dodger game tomorrow, Mark? With the Brew Crew?
I listen. I bet the Dodgers at -208 to win the series before it started, and I think this thing is over. I mean, I was dying to fade Milwaukee the whole way. I bet against them with the Cubs. Didn't go there. The Dodgers are just a better team. I mean, Milwaukee's a nice story, but I don't think they can compete. I'm actually surprised Toronto. I thought their bats would finally wake up. You know, I thought this would be like a 5-4 Mariners win kind of deal. I bet the over in that game, but I'm surprised to see the bats finally woke up. At least makes you feel a little bit better as a Yankee fan that Toronto decided to hit finally against somebody else that's not the Yankees. So there is that.
Yeah, the Dodgers are just – this is the team, right, guys, that we not feared, but thought, okay, this could be the team the entire season, right? Great pitching, timely hitting, lower the batting order coming through as well. You're getting the Dodgers A game, right? And I don't think it's by coincidence or accident. It's the postseason. I just think they were waiting all season long.
But it was a blessing in disguise, Scott, right? That Blake Snell got hurt earlier in the year. Glasnow, like they saved their arms as opposed to they got their fresh arms. Glasnow and Snell have fresh arms right now.
It felt like the Dodgers treated the regular season like an NBA team does. Just get me to the playoffs. We'll be fine. You know, just do enough to get to the playoffs. We'll give guys nights off. We'll do load management. We'll let our pitchers rest. We'll win enough games to get to the postseason, and there we go.
Yeah. All right, Dodger to play tomorrow. Mark, good job, Ed. Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Let's do AJ Brown. He's seems to be kind of upset with the way things are going. The Eagles will trade AJ Brown at some point this season, buy or sell.
This is what really annoys fans about certain players. Don't you care about winning? All right, he complained last year, won a Super Bowl, right? He's reading books, and he's blah blah blah. He's complaining this year too, and he was complaining while they were winning. Yeah, of course they lost last night to the Giants there, but he had 6 catches, 80 yards, and then I think I heard him come out and say, I don't remember having an offensive meeting with Hurts and Barkley, even though it was reported that they did have a meeting. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but if they did have a meeting and he's saying he doesn't, what is going on here? Do you really want to be traded? I mean, grass isn't always greener. They're not going to trade you to a good team, right? You're certainly not going to Detroit, or San Francisco. They're not going to trade you to anybody in their own conference that's good, that could compete with them. So just strange. Do I think he's going to be traded? No. They've come out and said he won't be traded, but that, who cares? That could just be to drive the price up if they really wanted to move him. So I'm going to sell this, but, if he really wants to be dealt, he can make life hard, keep complaining, keep doing this and that, embarrassing everybody, but really strange situation what's going on in Philadelphia. You won a Super Bowl, you'd think you'd be happy for a little bit.
I think that, I don't know, would they do this deal? I think Howie Roseman is not adverse to making deals, but George, wouldn't they have to acquire somebody like AJ Brown to make this kind of trade? I'm going to say sell. I think he's going to stick it out with the team. I think they're going to move him in the offseason. I think they're going to move him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Fridays starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game day here on the Grid. Final segment. Thanks again, Mark Zito, joining us as he does from time to time. So we do have 2 baseball games tomorrow. And again, I'm just a little surprised, that the game, they got the Dodger game at 6 o'clock and then the Seattle game at 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I knew you were going to bring this up somehow. It's funny because I saw this last night, Scott, because it threw me off as a Dodger fan. And I saw the start time, and I was like, nah, this is the pregame show, or I was very confused by it, right? So I double and triple checked. But it's like I told you before, they alternate. So on Friday, it'll be the Dodgers in prime time and the Mariners and Blue Jays with the earlier one. So they really do rotate, supposedly for competitive balance.
That's kind of weird, right? Listen, I'm happy that they actually want to promote other teams other than the Dodgers or Yankees or Red Sox or Cubs, right? But I'm just a little surprised they would okay that. I really do. I am. Maybe they thought the Blue Jay series would be over by then, which it could be. But
no, we saw that last week where they did the same thing.
Yeah.
They put the Dodgers on it and the Phillies on it, and at 3 PM or whatever, LA time. It should be noted, actually, for tomorrow. I'm glad you bring it up, too. Should be noted. Let's see what Glasnow's strikeout prop is. Dodger Stadium at this time of the day is wickedly known for its shadows. I talked about it a lot last week. Strikeout props easily hit both pitchers. Like, you got to pick the ball up like 3 times. Dodger Stadium is really bright. So you got the blue wall in the back. The colors really accentuate there. It's like heaven on earth type deal. It's like you're in heaven. Like the grass is really green. The wall is bright. Everything is bright. Then you get the pitcher in the sun, and there's a shadow like in between. So you got to pick the ball up coming out of the sun with the pitcher against the backdrop, and then you got to pick the ball up again in the shade. It's nearly impossible. Like you saw it last week. I mean, the pitchers were dominant in that shadow, and the game starting at the same time. So it's going to be a shadow situation once again at Dodger Stadium tomorrow, which is an advantage for the pitchers. And I always think an advantage for the Dodger hitters, Scott, because they're kind of used to playing in the stadium at least, and they know the shadows.
Right. How about first 5 first 5 run totals, 3.5? You'll get plus money on the under. You're really going to get 4 runs in those situations. Now, you don't know who's pitching for Milwaukee. It's undecided right now.
That's the thing. The Dodgers put a crooked number up early on them. All you need to know, look, Glasnow strikeout prop, 6.5. Pretty steep. You got to get to 7. They're trying to scare you off of this. It's plus 125. Yeah. So you could play the 5.5 at minus money as well.
He was so good, you got to pay the price. His out total is 16.5. So that's 2 outs into the 6th inning. You know,
it's like the Dodger pitchers almost are challenging each other, though, right? Like he's going to want to match Yamamoto now, right? It's like this goal. Speaking of which. Jacksonville State, they were just moving the ball, Scott. I was going to say, I think we might get a field goal here at least. We want some points still in this game. But now it's 4th and 24 from the 35-yard line. And, all right, UTEP have the ball, but on their own 9-yard line with 10 minutes left. This would be a good time for Sam Houston State to come up with a big stop here.
Yeah. And there's probably still time for them to kick a field goal, right? I mean, you get the ball back right around midfield. If you force a punt here, and you get a first down or 2, about 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left. I think they would go for a field goal down 4. And we would win by,
right. And that would give us the cover. I don't care if they win.
Yeah.
I didn't bet the money line. Right? I got a plus 3. Blackhawks score an early goal. Blackhawks up 1-0 on the St. Louis Blues, and the Calgary Flames are up 1-0 on Utah right now.
Wow. All right.
Man,
we grabbed Calgary
holy
plus
crap.
190.
Well, we talked about the 11.5. Man, this game is like, wow.
Over.
12-2.
Wow. 3-run homer.
Alejandro Kirk, 3-run shot, 12-2.
There you go. There's our bowling ball guy. I'm telling you.
12-2.
You can't tell me that's not God-given talent to be able to look like him and hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That is not working.
Look at all the Blue Jays fans in Seattle. Yeah. Look at the crowd here. There's Canadian flags. There's like the entire outfield is all Blue Jay fans. Like, there's a lot of Blue Jay fans there too. So
yeah,
Vancouver. Yeah, and all over. Yeah, they take the stadium over all the time. Dude, the Mariners sell Blue Jays gear in their team store. It pissed the Mariner players off.
It's off. Wow.
They have so many Blue Jay fans that go every year, once a year when they play there.
Yeah. All right, Dodgers, you lay the $1.94, $1.96 with the Dodgers, or are you going to lay off?
Yeah, I'm all over the Dodgers and all propositions, but give me the Dodgers on the run line, minus 1.5.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow to watch that and the Thursday Night Football right here on the Grid.